Good morning, everyone. So here we are, middle of the week. There's several things to talk about today. I'm like, where do I want to start? So Mercury is station direct. That means it hasn't started moving forward yet, but it is ready to. We'll start pushing forward a little bit later on today. It's going to be a very slow process, as it always is, as we always go through. Again, I'm going to say this again. We go through Mercury retrograde 3 times every year, your entire life. So, and we all survived this one. Yay. Just, we have 100% survival rate of Mercury retrogrades. Might be a little bit bruised. It's funny, somebody had commented on one of the videos and asked me why I'm not wearing makeup anymore. The only way that I can really explain it is that I've been conserving my energy. It takes energy to put makeup on in the morning or at any time during the, but it takes energy to put on makeup, and I don't need it. So in this Scorpio season, it wasn't particularly easy to get through. So I needed to conserve my energy as much as possible. What the other big thing that we're kind of talking about, and it's funny because I didn't even think about this when I was talking about Venus and Jupiter yesterday. This weekend, we're also leading up to Venus and Jupiter meeting in the Galactic Center. The Galactic Center is in the Sagittarius. So Venus and Jupiter are both in Sagittarius, and they're coming up conjunct. And we talked about that yesterday. How it's going to be, Jupiter is the husband, Venus is the wife. If we didn't talk about it yesterday, I'm surprised that we didn't talk about it yesterday. But when I was talking about the Mars and Uranus with the Venus and Jupiter conjunction with Mars and Uranus opposite each other, it's going to be a really interesting weekend before the new moon in Sagittarius on next Tuesday. If you haven't signed up for the new moon in Sagittarius ritual and meditation, this is going to be a really important one that we're going to be doing. It's the last new moon before the eclipse in December, on December 26th. So, or 25th. I don't remember. Oh my gosh, it totally slipped my mind. I'm going to have to double check that. Anyways, this is the last new moon before the eclipse, with the new moon in Capricorn. So we really want to be able to take advantage of this because the eclipse is bound to bring change. And this new moon is definitely going to bring change as well, whether you like it or not. And the reason why we like to do rituals is we're setting intentions for the universe, telling the universe that we're working with it. So that's why we do moon rituals, because the power of the moon, that is our, every single day cycle. The power of the moon is our everyday cycle. So when we're setting intentions and we're giving it all to the universe during moon phases, it's extra powerful. And doing it in the group setting that we've been doing it in, it's just been fantastic and amazing. I've seen things changing in my life. I know that I've had a lot of testimonies of people saying, it's totally like just doing the meditations, the weekly meditations. Like, forget about the rituals. Doing the weekly meditations is changing people's lives because they're coming in contact with themselves. They're centering themselves. They're coming into alignment with themselves because they're learning how to listen. So if you haven't been a part of the meditations, I suggest just coming to one. And then you get the recorded version and you can watch it as many times as you need to. I'm not trying to gouge everybody. I do ask for a small fee for the registration, because we want to keep the energy as positive and as light as possible. So if you really want to come, everybody is welcome. That information is in the description box. So Venus and Jupiter meeting in this galactic center, which is the arrow of the Sagittarius. It's the very tip of the arrow of the Sagittarius arrow, okay? And for those of you who don't know, Sagittarius is the archer. That's Astrology 101, Sagittarius is the archer. They have the arrow. They point the arrow in the direction they want it to go. They let it go. This galactic center. So Venus and Jupiter. Jupiter is the and Saturn's going to be there as well. You know, Saturn is that karmic intensity that we're constantly feeling. And then and Venus will be meeting up with Saturn after she meets with Jupiter. So there's going to be this creative, radiant, beautiful clash of energies with Jupiter and Venus at the galactic center. This is like a portal opening. Jupiter is considered the husband. If you look at where your Jupiter lies in your own birth chart, you can see the kind of husband, you know, if that's what you're searching for, a husband, right? You can see the kind of husband or partner you're supposed to be with in your life. And if you're looking for a wife or a feminine partner, you'll look at their Venus sign and what house it's in, and what kind of partner. You'll look at your Venus sign and what kind of partner would be good for you there. So when Jupiter and Venus meet, it's the wife and the husband meeting, right? And through this gateway portal, so you could really find, with Saturn also there, find a very compelling soulmate right now, or somebody. And there is also a possibility that it could have been leading up to this point, like your whole year, and Jupiter being, you know, like coming up close and to where you know, Venus coming in as well. So there could have been this lead up, if you will, to somebody that you're supposed to meet. It could be the renewing of a relationship, or really like the strengthening of bonds. A lot of this energy is going to be strengthening the bonds with your idea of what the right partner is supposed to be, right? Because a lot of times we really compel ourselves to believe that our partners are supposed to be a particular way, or they're supposed to look a particular way or act a particular way. And then when we find out that that's not what our partners are supposed to be like, we kind of do an about face and we're like, oh, I get it now, right? So like my Jupiter is in Leo, which is my 11th house. And so the 11th house deals with friendships and communication and innovation and like because it's Aquarius rules the 11th house, right? So it's all about innovation and friendship and coming together and thinking new and broad. So like my husband partner figure would be somebody who is very like open and very public and is happy and likes being around other people. Basically just the opposite of who I because I'm like a very reserved person. I'm a loner. Like my husband or my partner person, my divine partner, according to my birth chart, would be somebody who is very extroverted, very outgoing, somebody that wants to change the world, that kind of person, and does it in a very public kind of way. Because Leo, and they also have a really big heart because Leo is all about the heart. See? So that's just an example. If you want to know yours, check out your birth chart. So let's look at the cards and see. There's really not, like, the moon is in Virgo, so you may really want to get things super organized right now. You may feel like there's sort of this pressure because it's trining Saturn, it's trining Uranus, it's trining, you know, but this happens every month. So there may be some like changes of organization that you really like. You've decided to start a new regimen today. You decided to start organizing something in a different way. That's what this kind of energy could be really giving. Or it's just because Mercury is going direct and the moon, the sign that the moon is in right now is ruled by Mercury. You could just feel that push to like the energy that you're ready to like get things going and get things started. So, the really big news about the cosmic energy is this weekend. Like this weekend is really interested to see what this weekend's going to be like. And it's not that I don't want you to hide. Like, that's not about staying indoors and not talking to anybody and hiding. Like I'll probably be working this weekend. Most likely, I mean, like, you know, but the thing is like, it's not about hiding. It's about recognizing your triggers and not reacting to things. That's what that Mars opposite Uranus situation is going to be like. Okay. I feel like some of you, I feel like we're moving away from like the hold that society has on us. This is a really big time as we move from Scorpio season into Sagittarius season and everything sort of picks up a little bit. You have to remember that the planets are slowly going forward. You know, like we had like Uranus was in retrograde until January. But like everything was in retrograde at one point. And now all the planets are slowly starting to move forward. And the last one will be Uranus going direct in January. But I feel like we're planting seeds for that time frame. And it's almost as if you're not really worried about other people's, do I want to say other people's obsessions, other people's opinions? So I didn't even realize I haven't shown the cards yet. The Six of Swords, the Seven of Pentacles, the Devil, the Hierophant, and the Chariot. I'm going to pause this really quick. Hold on one second. I need to blow my nose. Okay. So I feel like this is like you planted the seed and then you walked away. When normally you wouldn't have done that. Like you learned the lesson or something. There's something about learning a lesson here. You learned the lesson and you did it like, like I almost want to say that you did it without, you either learned the lesson or you accomplished something without bringing anybody else into the mix, right? And you did it all yourself. You planted the seed. You did all the things, right? But the feeling that I'm getting is it wasn't about what everybody else wanted. And that Chariot makes me feel like this was an easy transition for you to make. Like it was so much easier for you to make doing it this way. Let's see. I hope I'm making sense to somebody. Six of Swords. I'm making sense to myself. Like this isn't resonating with me because I already do this kind of thing. But that's the picture that I was getting because I've already been through it. That's how spirit works with me. Is like if I've already been through a situation or I've already done something or I've already learned a lesson and that's what the reading is about, they'll show that to me in my mind. So that's my clairvoyance. They'll like actually show me in that same situation. And it feels like it like clicked. And they saw how they planted the seed and they were like, you know what? This is all I can do. I can plant the seed. I did my part. There's really not much I can do. I'm just going to walk away from it, right? Six of Swords. I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to plant the seed, Seven of Pentacles, and let it go. When in the past, it might have been that you would have like focused on that seed, like watching, you know, a watched pot or a watched pot never boils, a watched seed never grows, you know? Let's see, Six of Swords. But you're doubting yourself because it is taking a very long time. The Seven of Pentacles is about planting the seed, but being patient, right? So I feel like even though you did this, there's still a doubt there. Like, did I really do it? Because I planted the seed so long ago is what I'm feeling. Or started this project so long ago, or I started this thing, you know, and so like, I'm not really sure if it's actually happening. That Eight of Swords can be very paralyzing. The Eight of Swords is more of a fear of, am I going in the right direction? Am I doing the right thing? And I think that's part of the lesson that you're learning right now, is to know that just because things aren't moving at a quicker pace, we just came out of a Mercury retrograde. We still have 2 weeks of a shadow period, right? Let's see. Seven of Pentacles. So I'm curious if you're still being patient for this thing. I'm not going to take all of those, but thank you very much. Oh, okay. I feel like you're coming to a point where there is it's almost as if you have to remind yourself to walk away from whatever it is, whatever seed you planted. It's almost as if you're in like this reminder stage. That Eight of Cups on the Seven of Pentacles again, and this is such a lesson that you guys are learning right now. And I was kind of getting the feeling that if you hadn't already learned the lesson, this is coming up for you. This lesson is coming up for you. So the Eight of Cups on the Seven of Pentacles, again, plant the seed, harvest, or, you know, just like plant the seed and then walk away. You cannot get emotionally invested in something that you don't even know if it's going to work out. But you can't sit there and wonder if it's going to work out either, because that's not going to make it work out any faster. And it just sucks your energy dry. So why would you want to do a thing like that? Stop worrying about the things that you can't control, right? I feel like this is a really big lesson that people are having to deal with right now, or having to do right now. Which is, you know, I mean, it makes sense. That you would be so emotionally invested in something that you're manifesting that you would want to, because you feel like you're nurturing it. When you're focusing on it, you're like, I'm going to manifest it, and then I'm going to nurture it, and I'm going to water it, and I'm going to talk to it, and I'm going to, you know, like give it all of my attention and all of my affection. Insert a person there, or insert a job there, or insert a project there, and not necessarily like a seed, a flower, or whatever, right? If you're putting too much attention in it, i.e. too much water in it, you're going to kill it. If you've got it out in the sunlight too much, you're going to fry it. Stop over-exaggerating. Stop forcing yourself into loving something so much, right? And this is about, like, man, this is about being honest with yourself too. The Page of Swords on the Devil. A 100% being honest with yourself and needing to have that honest conversation. I feel like some of you are actually going to have to physically move, because with this Eight of Cups and the Six of Swords and the Chariot, all three of those really represent physical movement. Some of you are actually having to physically move, and I think the concern with that is being able to. Or how do I put this? Not being able to, but like the house and the winds and the where and the what, and you know what I mean? It's like, instead of sort of just being an open vessel and letting yourself flow with the energy of how the universe is setting everything up for you, you're really super concerned on all the little details. And every single time you try and fix a detail or find out a detail or something like that, it sort of blows up in your face, or it comes back at you like, it's not time. It's not time. It's not time. For some of you, this has to do with leveling up a relationship where it was a very physical relationship first, but the Two of Cups on the Hierophant. You're not sure if leveling up the relationship is a good idea, even though you have a very strong connection with the person. I don't know if it's the right one. I don't know if it's the right one. I don't know if it's the right one. Sound familiar? If it was the right one, you wouldn't be asking yourself if it was the right one. I mean, I hate to put it that way, but it's kind of true. Like, you honestly would not have to ask yourself, is this the right one, if it was the right one? So let's see. The Chariot. Bottom of the deck is the Queen of Cups. You know, it's really time right now to be in a super intuitive state of mind, because trying to figure things out with your ego or with the logical side of things, it's really not, it's not going to make sense. Because, so for example, say you are actually physically moving. If you hold on to the idea of the way you want the move to look, or where you want to move, or how you want to move, or the environment that you're moving to, or whatever it is, if you're holding on to particular expectations and ideas of how that's going to look, you're going to be disappointed every single time. And if you are going through this situation with a partner and they have a certain idea of how things are supposed to look, and you have a certain idea of how things are supposed to look, I feel like this is a lesson in being honest with yourself on, and I always ask myself this question. Whenever I'm faced with a situation that could possibly turn bad, because being aware, you know, you can see the situation for what it is, bold face right there. Like, you're not kidding yourself anymore, right? When I see a situation coming up, I ask myself, is this situation worth disturbing my peace? Because in the past, if you're going to come at me about something, I will argue with you about it. And this is one of those lessons that I actually learned in this retrograde. But if you're going to come at me, then normally I would have argued about it, or I would have defended myself, because my ego would rear up and it would say, no, 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 that person can't think that about you, or that person can't think that about you. That's not okay, because you know that's not who you truly are. You need to set them straight. So my ego would tell me I need to set them straight. And then I would get all sorts of like riled up, and my face would turn red, and my blood pressure I would get high blood pressure, and like I was ready for a fight. Like, I mean, I would do that. I would always be ready for a fight. I would always be on guard. And now, and it had started before the Mercury retrograde, but this Mercury retrograde really put a big stamp on it for me. I will ask myself in every situation from here on out, is this situation worth disturbing my peace? And if it's a big fat no, I'm going to turn the other direction. I'm going to go. Like, I don't need it. I do not need it anymore in my life. Right? And I feel like that's the question you need to ask. Is this situation, do I want to be right, or do I want to be happy? Somebody actually wrote that. It's so funny that I'm thinking about this right now. In my first wedding, we had a book that was passed around to all the guests, and there was, I mean, like my first ex-husband and I were very young. We were both 23 when we got married. And actually, I think it was 22. No, I was 23. I was 23. Anyways, so we were very young. And so we had this book passed around, and everybody put in their advice for having a happy life or having a happy marriage. And my best friend's husband, she was actually my maid of honor, my best friend's husband, he wrote in the book, remember that it's always better to be happy than to be right. And I've never forgotten that. Ever since then, it's not, I haven't always used that because it took me a very long time to actually understand, but I would get in arguments with my ex-husband, and then I would stop myself and be like, do I want to be happy right now, or do I want to be right? And I mean, my Virgo ways, we always think we're right, right? But when you're an evolved Virgo, you know that you're not always right. Like, I know I'm not always right. Anyways, my point is, this reading feels like you don't want to hold on to the expectation of how your journey is going. That Four of Pentacles on the Chariot, you don't want to hold on. And the energy that we're building up to this weekend with the galactic center and with Venus and Jupiter and Mercury going direct and all of this stuff, and Uranus and Mars being opposite of each other, we're really learning how to relate to other people. And it's really a matter this weekend of, do I want to be happy or do I want to be right? If you get into a situation where there is conflict this weekend, you have to be in charge of your own energy. If it's something that will disturb your peace, it is not worth it. There is nothing in this world that is worth disturbing your peace. I don't care what it is. And I want you to remind yourself of that. Okay? I do have readings available. They are 20% off right now. For the 30-minute readings with me, they're only $60. There's only a limited number of those, so get it while you can. The $30 one-question readings are restocked. I think I have like 9 of those available. I can try to get those done this weekend. If you purchase that today or tomorrow, I'll put you in for this weekend. I'll put you in for Sunday. It'll either be Sunday or Monday. We'll do that. Either Sunday or Monday if you order it today or tomorrow. And what else? Oh, I do have some 6-month forecasts still available, like 6 of them. I think I have 6 of them still available. You will get that in December. And I think that's about it. I hope you guys have a really great day. I love you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.